feel like sometimes it can hold us back from making new relationships with different cultures.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Also, I feel like media, like, kind of like only shows like the bad part of like division and further spreads division. You know, it shows like black on black or black on white. It doesn't show like what we do to help each other.
So the track that we gave you guys is called Wise World to the Light. It talks about what's going on in the world, like you're saying, division, like the perpetuation of media, culture, everything, education, politics. Possible they're talking about year 2033. That's what rumor is biblically for now. So what are your thoughts about that?
Repeat that question.
So possibly the world might end in 2033. But right now we're still working on that. Your thoughts about hearing that?
It's a little nerve-wracking to say the least.
I mean, yeah. I hope that's not true.
Like, we can come together.
Wait, what makes you guys say 2033 or any like research?
Well, so you remember years ago when 2011, the 2011 when they were proclaiming the end of the world.
Right around that time.
Right around that time, there was a guy named Mr. Harold Camping. We were passing out those tracks, hoping that was the end of the world. But come to find that wasn't, but it was a spiritual judgment. And now we're feeling the judgment feeling already.
Have you noticed things are a little bit like off?
Not really.
Not really.
You don't
So
see the
you don't
going on more.
So you don't feel like a sense of unease,
So you see
uncertainty.
more like division in sports, politics now, more media.
I feel like there kind of always has been.
Is it kind of heightened or no? It's just about the
I
same.
feel like it's kind of blown out of proportion. I don't think it's really as bad as people make it out to be. I feel like what I said, like the media only shows like the bad parts of it. Like they don't show like people together, which I feel like happens a lot.
Well said.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Awesome. Yeah. So Tommy, they're saying that they don't really notice the division that's going on in the world. Do you think that's more on a physical level?
Well, remember, they're looking at the world physically, with the eyes, what they see, not what they read in the Bible. So that's
So
why
there's not enough signs for people to actually think the world is divided?
Well, not enough signs. I think it's just that as we could see it biblically, physically, and spiritually, they just see it more like visually, and their eyes and interpretation of what they see.
So when we ask someone like, why is the world so divided? Some people will agree and some people will disagree, but that's really not the point, right?
Remember, that's just the basic fundamental of what they see. It's what they see. Spiritually, what we're looking at is everything, not just physical, but spiritual, in line with God's timeline.
It's telling me to rotate the device. All right, folks. Well, thanks for being here today. E-Bible Fellowship or Tracting. I have my phone sideways. It's letting me know to rotate the device. If you can, please like and subscribe. And if possible, put in the chat if there's anything wrong with the screen, if anything is, the viewpoint is off. You can also hit the like button to let us know how is it going. Yeah, I'm actually streaming live now, so feel free to, I'm going to walk over. One sec. Streaming live, E-Bible Fellowship. How's it going, Sir Oliver?
All right, enjoying the day, man. What
Perfect.
better place is it to be? Seaside Heights, New Jersey, handing out tracks. The weather is like the best.
Yeah, it's really a blessing
It's
today.
really pleasant out here. A little breeze, and the people are very pleasant. We just actually had a police officer come up to us and asked us. He was checking to see if it was lawful for us to do this, and they said it was fine. So,
Oh, that's a blessing.
I kind of was like a little, oh, you're not going to shut us down, are you? So he made a phone call, and they said it's fine for us to hand out tracks.
Oh, what a blessing. What a blessing.
I was a little worried, but I have Candace here, and Candace says, I would have put Candace on it. Because Candace says, no, it's lawful. She says she's been doing it for 3 years. So
Oh, wow. Awesome.
I was a little worried about it.
somebody said they can't tell the world is divided. So physically, is that possible? Two young men said they don't really see the division. So on an earthly standpoint, that's man's opinion. But is it possible that they cannot see that the world is divided? Has God's judgment manifested itself in that way where some people won't notice it? Do you think?
I mean, according to the Bible, God talks about giving man up, iniquity abounding. So, in a sense, I think man has almost become accustomed to sin. You know, they're not as sensitive to sins, and it's just part of your everyday activity. And so, I don't think men are so moved by sin. It's like everything is normal to them. You know, the Bible says there's madness in the hearts of men. And so when you have a heart that God hasn't saved, you almost become numb to sin, I think.
So there are people that's not going to recognize that the world's divided as they're caught up in their own activity.
Right.
Or whatever pockets of division may not be in their town, or
Right.
so they'll kind of hold out, so to speak.
Some people are just impacted in their everyday life different than others. Some people you talk to, they say, yeah, there's a lot of chaos going on. But it's different from person to person. So some people just relate their own experiences of what's going on.
Do you think God will eventually touch the lives of every individual so that they may recognize, or God's, he doesn't have to do that, but do you think God might?
I think people are always going to doubt, because when you bring a message of division and you start letting people know that it's due to Christ judging the world, people are going to be opposed to that, so they'll kind of fight against that idea once you explain to them that it's because Christ is judging the world. That particular teaching is inconceivable to them, because that would mean that there's an angry God out there that's judging them, and they don't want to consider that at all.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it. So how's the reception been thus far, Candace?
It's been okay.
When you come here normally, what is it like when you normally come here?
Normally when I come here late. I come here about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or actually a little bit later after Q&A. And I go through one of these packs an hour.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
Looks like we got an interview here. Oh, sweet.
Okay, we're going to be interviewed.
Awesome, guys.
So thank you so much for taking your time. So you're okay with it? Okay. You have a track?
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you thought of that when you first saw that? Why is the world so divided? Did you think that was something that was relatable?
Yeah, I didn't accept it at first because I didn't read it, and I was like, and then when I looked at your guys' shirt, I was like, oh, I should have taken it.
But yeah, it does make sense.
So I watched the news, and I know the Brazilian president was almost 50-50. It was a really intense election. And the guy who got in, the other side wasn't too happy about it. So you see the division is in the whole world. It's not just here in the United States. Do you think that's some of the signs that might be in the Bible when you see that people are so divided that could be possibly?
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the Bible it says that people are going to start losing love. And when you start losing love, people start dividing themselves. So I think, one of the many problems of the world is the division and the lack of love.
That's so well said, because God said the love of many will grow cold. So I think if you can see those things, it's really a blessing. It's really a blessing, because some people, they kind of go on and they hope that the world will continue on as long as they can, because they work so hard, they have families, they have jobs, and then someone here kind of interrupts their day and says, hey, this is what's going on in the world. When you guys get this track, do you think there's more to this, or do you think it's just the message? Do you think there's more to what's going on? Do you think God could actually be intervening right now?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
I feel like
days are getting shorter, so.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like people talk a lot about how everyone should be treated equal and everyone should do stuff equally, but they forget that the little stuff matter too. And they start to separate because everybody wants to be their own person, and like the lack of love it makes everybody divide. And if people just loved more, they would find out that we're all more the same. It means we're more
Yeah,
equal.
and God is love. So if people are losing love, it's possible that God is taking away his love from them because he's ready to start the new heaven and the new earth. You think that's a possibility?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're getting to a time where, the evangelism that you're doing is going to be a time where everybody that, rejected everything, the word, he's going to say, like, I put people to preach for you and you didn't accept it. So now, depart from me. So
So it'll be too late.
yeah, it'll be too late.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Well said.
I knew you
Well
wanted to
said.
go. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Well said. Thank you.
So what were you doing? Doing a
So we're just asking people questions. We're just doing a live stream right now.
yeah.
We've been on for about 11 minutes.
Okay, good.
We did a YouTube short, and we're just tracking right now.
So I'll find somebody to snatch, interview,
Okay.
and just ask them questions.
Okay. Yeah, Tony said somebody was down there.
Yeah, we can walk down there.
There's a lot of people.
Tommy, you want to walk down there and see?
Sure, let me grab my. Are they gonna stay here or no?
Yeah, me and Oliver.
You gonna stay here, huh?
I'm going in now.
What about all your stuff? Who's gonna watch it?
I have my stuff.
Candace, you want to watch your stuff? Can you watch our stuff here?
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, let me get this.
Bye, guys. Hey, God bless you.
All right.
I'm gonna watch this stuff. Leave it there and I'll stay.
Did you have to pay to get in there? 7. Miss Candace is going to be here. Do you want to go into the arcade?
I'll go in 5 minutes.
So there's areas that have shade over there. There's a canopy.
I like it because it's pretty cool. I like this.
You can also lean against this area, or
No, I'm good. I'm good. I got it. Where are
right.
you guys going to do?
we're just going to walk down and talk to some folks.
That's it. Will you come back?
Oh man, I needed something to drink.
I was thirsty. Sorry.
You had coconut water. This was mine.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
All right. So. Sorry. Watermelon? Oh, I love watermelon.
Yeah. We didn't eat later, so it's better to eat now.
We got it in the bag and we got it.
Yeah.
Let me just take a couple and then be on. You want to take a walk down there?
Yep. If we have time, sure.
Greg Vitrus paid for lunch for us, by the way.
Oh, great.
Greg Vitrus. Hey, he gave me $300.
Sweet. Hey, 7. Somebody paid for our lunch.
Oh,
So we'll have lunch later.
Yeah, but sweetheart, here.
he gave $300, so
You can.
Okay, thank you. You don't want none?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for your patience, everyone. So we're live streaming here in Seaside Heights. Seaside Heights. And I'm just going to take this out. Put this in here. Perfect. So how long you been tracking, Tommy?
Almost 20 years.
20 years.
Almost.
When was the first time you started tracking?
When I was 21.
21 years old? Is that through Family Radio?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the Does God Love You tract?
Yes. And I was at a bus stop, and my cousin.
You got to speak up a little bit because it's windy.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find some potential people here.
Okay, sure. Now they said somebody is down the walkway here that you said you might be able to see for tracking. Ah, there's a restroom here.
Are you the bathroom?
A little later.
Excuse me, miss. Can you interview me? And I never stopped ever since. Yeah, a couple.
So what we can do is let's meet up with our other teammate here, and then since you got the watermelon in your hand, we'll just meet up with the team. I think the watermelon is a turnoff, and you're gonna get all in your shirt. So let's just wait. You got all the police right here. Now we're looking for somebody. Somebody supposed to be tracking up here? Did you meet up with the team yet?
Yes, they did. Yes. So they split down there. Suppose there's 3 teams.
Now, do you have tracks with you?
Or back there.
Oh, we're good, brother. You think the world's divided? Okay.
Why do you think it's divided?
It's a long debate, honestly.
Well, give us a short version.
Yeah, we're bringing customers. They think we're going to come here, so it's good you talk to us.
I'm good for now. I'm too hungover to talk about politics, honestly.
Thank you for your time.
Good.
Take care, brother.
Have a good day.
Yeah, but if we ask people eating watermelon, it just kind of makes them uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah. They're looking us up and down like, how would I talk to you guys? You got this, warm watermelon.
I gotta eat something.
Right.
I mean,
We got to look like we're a media empire.
oh yeah.
Oh, where's the team?
You really look like media.
I can't believe they're this far away, though. Oh, folks, hopefully you can hear us. We are tracking here in Seaside Heights. Seaside Heights. And beautiful day. There's probably a lot of wind that you're hearing, so I have the microphone close to my mouth here. We're going to be passing out tracks for a while. Please remember to hit the like button and also put in the comments if the screen is in the proper direction. I can rotate it if necessary. Oh, I see a teammate.
Hey, if I want somebody to come out and help you, would it be okay?
Oh, yeah. You got some kids there. Harry!
Harry, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good. Everyone, this is Harry Dysart, as you know. Bible Fellowship. Looking good. We got some boys here that they don't mind talking to. Let me just say hi to some other folks.
Yes.
Happy belated.
How are you?
You made it.
How you
How
doing?
are you doing, brother? Good to see you. So, those boys don't mind talking to us. We're going to ask them why the world's so divided, and then I guess we'll take some tracks, and then if you guys don't mind, we'll just ask, what are you doing here, and why did you decide to come out?
I think I gave a track to those guys.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask them a question.
You weren't even on the list.
I know.
You non-lister.
I'm not tracking.
You're a non-lister. I'm not lister.
I'm not tracking.
Yeah, I know that too. And then like people like use all their money and stuff.
How are you guys doing? Is it okay if we record you?
All right, so if you want to say your names, you could. If you don't have to,
All right.
fine. You
What's your
could.
name? Okay. I'm Anthony.
Anthony.
I'm Joaquin.
Hey, Joaquin.
I'm William.
Hey, William. When you first saw this sign, why is the world so divided? Did it appeal to you in any way? Did you actually think it had some resonance?
It did, really.
A little bit, kind of, yeah. It made me feel like it made me more aware why the world is. It made me wonder why it is divided.
What do you think is causing the division right now?
Probably like the media, something like that.
The media.
They kind of like really like exaggerate stories. Yeah.
That's interesting.
You had mentioned you remember 2011. What are your recollection about that?
You were really young then. How did you remember that?
I don't really remember it, but I remember you talking about the camping and the family video. I watched this video on it.
You watched the video on that?
Yeah. And the dude predicted, and nothing happened. And there's some stories of the people who spent all their money that day.
I'm so happy to see you. Tommy, myself, we traveled all over telling people that May 21 was the end, right? And for you and me, for me, it was devastating because we all thought that we'd be going up. And I think for you, it was like a climax and then things just fell off, right?
Yeah.
Now, from then till now, do you think the world has gotten better or worse since then?
Well, it's honestly kind of always been back, up and down.
I feel like it's gotten worse though over time.
So what if I were to tell you that 2011 was not just a physical, but was more like a spiritual judgment, led to the way the world is now, much more division, much more destructive, seeing people much more in the media, the politics, sports. I mean, do you see that more and more?
I want to say it, but I can see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Do you think the technology also makes it more heightened? Someone sends out a tweet, someone says a response, then there's like a Twitter battle, or then there's someone clapping back on social media. So with media per se, it's kind of like gotten a microscope on all the craziness that's going on, right?
So I have an important question. I want you to think about this. So now there's a thing they're saying about 2033 could possibly be the end of the world because 2011 was a spiritual judgment. So what are your thoughts about knowing that, hearing that now, 2033?
I don't really know.
Now you've been through 2011, so now that you hear 2033, what do you think about it?
It doesn't really scare me because I don't know if I'm wrong, but I think the Bible actually says that you can't really, no one knows when the world's going to end. So the world might end, lifetime might not. It doesn't really matter.
Well, what if God told you no man knows the day or the hour, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So if you look at Noah's flood, did Noah know the end was coming?
Not before he got told.
Let me ask you a question.
Correct.
So you are aware of the flood Noah, right?
Yeah.
So if you take a look at the same day as Noah in 2011, that was a line. So
It was the 7,000th anniversary.
Those two were very aligned spiritually. So meaning God set that up as alignment. So that 2011 has a very important role. So possibly 2033 could be the next end. So
that's 2,000 years from Christ's resurrection. So essentially when 2011 came and went, we all thought it was a physical end, but we were greatly humbled. I quit my job. I traveled everywhere broke. My wife was pregnant. I had to get another job. But then about a year or two later, God started letting us know that the end was not physical in nature. It was actually a spiritual shutting of the door, that there's no more salvation. It's a horrible time on earth. And what you're seeing now is an uprising of man's hearts, more fighting, more infighting. If you really think about it, what area of society doesn't have division right now? If you can tell me, think of one area in society that's not divided. You can't say the home, you can't say school, you can't say church, because the church was divided with denominations. You can't say the military. What aspect of life is not divided right now? Exactly. Exactly. So from what we're studying in the Bible, it's a global division through Christ, and mankind is being given up, and the heat is just slowly being turned, not high enough where people are going to figure it out. So we're just letting people know, like you, people who witnessed 2011 and nothing happened, we're here to tell you actually something did happen. It kicked off the beginning of the end. what we call a 5-month period in Revelation chapter 9, which is actually in totality, if I'm understanding correctly, a 43-year period from 1994 to 2033.
So let me ask you a question. Do you guys go to church?
I really wanted more, but my family isn't religious, so I have to try to, like, if I want to, I've got to go out my way to do all
Let me
that.
ask you a question. If you were to show your parents that track, and you said to your mom and dad, hey mom, 2011 something happened, what do you think they would say? 2033?
I mean, they would probably not believe it. I don't even really believe it that much in here. I gotta think about this.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Well said. I'm so happy, man. I don't think I've ever met someone your age that actually remembers 2011 and how significant it was. And I'm really happy to share this with you. Who knows? It might resonate with you. Thanks for your time, guys.
No problem.
All right, take care. Where'd the team go? All right, I guess we go down here a little bit. They done abandoned us.
That's okay. But that was a good.
That was a great conversation.
I like that one.
That young man actually remembers 2011.
That's something Chris would really appreciate, because he had talked about that previously. Where
So Tommy's saying that that would be greatly appreciated, that this young boy remembered May 21 coming and going, and that he's not really a churchgoer. That's quite significant for a young man. He looks like he's what, 18, 17?
He told me I think he was 17,
Yeah.
17.
So, be encouraged. You're out here tracking. You see a young man like that, 17, 18 years old, and he states he remembers May 21, 2011. Most of us don't remember it.
Some of us remember it.
Some of us went back to the world. Some of us, but it seems like he kept those things in his mind.
I think young people are much more in tune with what's going on than people who are older, because I think they're kind of set in their mind, set in their ways already, how they live their life. Right. Whereas young people are more like, they're more in speed.
Right. Did you get any tracks from him? From the team? No. Did you get tracks from Harry and?
No, I didn't see them. They disappeared.
Now, tell me if you see anybody with tracks in their hand. That'll let us know that that they're coming up with them. I don't see anybody with tracks. You know what? Let's head back. Let's get some tracks in our bags. Okay. And
maybe we can find some more interviews.
Yeah. Well, folks, we just had about 3 interviews today. We're asking people, do they think the world's divided and why they think the world's divided. We're getting different answers. But we just ran across a young man who actually remembered May 21, 2011. So be encouraged.
And I also think, too, more young people, once again, are more in tune. They're seeing this, whereas older people are more like, well, I live my life. So once again, they're thinking, I've been through that stage in my life. But young people haven't been there yet. So maybe there's hope that the young people who experienced 2011 might see this come to mind.
Yeah, people are out having a good time. They're not really thinking about this. So we're coming out here today to tell people about this.
Exactly.
See if we got any tracks on the ground. So this is an area where Family Radio covered New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. That means there are tens of thousands of people who listened to family radio after May 21, 2011, former family radio listeners who did not hear about E-Bible Fellowship.
They acknowledged it?
Former family radio listeners who used to listen to who used to listen to family radio, but they haven't heard of E-Bible yet, and they cannot listen to family radio any longer.
Or maybe they still listen to family radio, but the format has changed.
Or they still may be tuning into family radio, although it not being faithful, hoping or just kind of wandering around. So passing out tracts right now is of utmost importance. We know that the family radio coverage area was California, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Camden, New Jersey, Philadelphia, New York City, Connecticut. Those were the major areas in which people were tracking. And that's the major areas where family radio was broadcasting. So these are the areas that we want to be tracking in, because maybe some people tuned into family radio for decades, and they're not being a faithful ministry. Folks who are not tracking, it's possible that God may be drawing them.
Once again, it's beautiful here at Seaside Heights in New Jersey. The wind is blowing. Just seeing potential people.
You said Seaside Heights, New Jersey. See the wind blowing?
Hi, how are you? I see some people tracking again. It seems they're willing to be interviewed. Let's see what they say. Let me try these individuals.
Well, we're trying to ask people if they'd like to talk about why the world is so divided. It's not an easy thing to ask people, but
Daniel.
Hey.
Just a few minutes.
We're about to have.
All right. Well, have a great time.
All right.
Have a great time.
Thank you.
So we have to ask people, would you like to tell us why you think the world's so divided? Someone can say no. Hi.
What do you think the world's so divided?
We're asking this dear woman. Politics. That's a popular answer. Politics. We get politics, media. But what do you think about man's heart? Do you think man's heart is losing love, or do you think man is falling down from into depravity? She says she's not going to say that, but individuals are very selfish nowadays. Men shall be lovers of themselves, right? They don't care about other people, their thoughts either. Do you think God's wrath could be on the world right now? Do you think that's a possibility? Could be the beginning of the end.
That would explain the division, why the division is going on rapidly. Do you remember 2011 when they were proclaiming the end of the world? Mr. Harold Camping was teaching that. Well, what are your thoughts?
Yes, if she remembers Harold Camping saying the end, 2011.
True, he's not God. He was just a man who was
saying what he believed.
Correct. Did you ever listen to him? So now the division going around. Now they're saying possibly 2033 the world. No?
It's God's will.
It's God's will.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that, man. So, what we took away from that, the dear woman said, Mr. Camping was just a man,
not God,
and not God, and that's so true. I think Mr. Camping was really humbled. We were humbled. God, showed us that His timeline,
Right here. Yep.
and that we had to receive correction on what we understood. But at the same time, it was a significant snare. A significant snare. God brought judgment upon the world.
Can we interview you for a few minutes? Just a few minutes.
Why do you think the world's ending soon? Do you think the world's divided? Do you think everything's normal?
Nothing's normal.
Nothing's normal. Well
Why
said.
do you think it's not normal too? I know what normal is.
That's humble. Very humble.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it.
You too.
Nothing's normal.
So nothing's normal.
Nothing's ever been normal.
Nothing's ever been normal.
Like Chris stated earlier in the open forum yesterday, the world, they thought it was normal, but they hid it. And now, after 2011, it's showing the normalcy is really just not what it used to be. It was a camouflage.
I see. So we're here with Harry Dysart here. Harry, how's it been going today? How's the reception? How are the people?
Good.
Anybody engaging with conversation? Or
Well, Jordan was talking to someone who had some questions. I haven't had anyone ask any questions yet, but I'm prepared, hopefully, to.
So we're here doing some interviews, stopping some people to see what they can answer. We met a young kid. He was about 17 years old, and he remembered 2011.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He remembered 2011.
and he's not a churchgoer either.
Yeah.
Well, that's a.
I heard you had a conversation today, Jordan. How'd it
Yeah,
go?
the guy just asked me, one of the guys working with me, just asked me how people are taking it. He saw one lady just like, and he had his interesting opinions, but
We're so glad that you're out here today, Jordan.
It feels good to be.
I was telling folks if you're watching, and for folks who are going to watch later, there's tens of thousands of family radio listeners in this area who's probably listened to family radio for decades.
Former. So you could pick up the New York station from here?
Yeah, or Jersey.
Or Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
they were in Cambridge.
And there were smaller satellite stations that kind of boosted the signal.
Really?
So you could keep going, and then you would change your station to some of the smaller market stations. But there's a lot of people here that God might just have waiting because they've never heard of e-Bible. And how are they going to discern except for this message?
Yeah, that's true. Well,
yeah.
As I was thinking on the way down here, I said the Lord's going to direct us to His sheep.
Right.
And it's not us that does it. He's going to move us in this place at this time, and all of a sudden, like the 17-year-old,
right,
who heard about it back in 2011.
Yeah. So Tommy's been, asking people politely if they have a minute, if they wouldn't mind talking about the shirt and what do they think of it.
Yeah.
And that young man happened to remember, so it was really, really an encouragement. It was a big encouragement.
So how many were you already 10 years? He was 7 years old when
He was very young.
Well,
because remember, Chris said, there were people who were young back then.
He would have been 6 years old.
Yeah. That's still good enough age to remember things.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, and you got to, how did he react when he was 6? He was probably scared to death. I remember talking to a woman in the car in Baltimore, and she was crying. She was really scared of, is the world going to end? And I said, it's Judgment Day. I said, cry out from your heart.
I heard some people who were like hardened criminals. They stayed in the subway. They didn't come out.
No?
On May 21. They stayed in the subway. So, I think people did have a concern.
Well, yeah,
and people watched. People watched.
People knew, and they kind of looked at themselves. Am I going to heaven, or am I going to, be annihilated or hell?
This message is different.
Yeah.
Way different from what we did in 2011.
Well, we did ask about 2033, their thoughts about that.
Yeah.
And some people were like,
Well, it's an interesting year because most of Christendom going to be looking at that as the 2000th anniversary of Christ rising from the dead, because that's years from 33 AD. So the Christian world is preparing to celebrate that like it's 2,000 years.
Right.
So all eyes will be on what's going to happen. So,
But
we don't know how the Lord's
but the
gonna-
problem with that is,
I think it's something that's something.
but the problem with that is here is people are looking
We
at
did
it
that. We did
like physically still.
Sure, we did.
They're not going to remember. They'll have that glimpse of 2011, but they'll be like,
Yeah.
it could be the same thing, but not.
Well, yeah, this is a spiritual judgment as opposed to, but at the end it's a physical thing. Even if it's in the blink of an eye, it's physical.
Well, be encouraged. Can we get some tracks off you, Tom? Come on, give us some more.
There you go.
Holding out on us.
Hold out.
Holding on to the supply.
Just burning through them. Just going to every store.
Oh, yeah.
You want some Spanish?
I have Spanish.
Oh, we take a couple on the bottom and flip it upside down.
Not too much.
Not too much. Not too much.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. God bless you. Had a couple interesting conversations. We met a young teen
Yeah.
who remembered 2011.
Really?
Yeah, it was very encouraging. So don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. There's a lot of family radio listeners probably.
Yep. Oh yeah, I always have very good conversations down there. Yeah.
But this kid, he remembered it very well.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He said he remembered. He heard about it as a young kid. 17 years old.
See that?
And he remembered it not happening and wondering about it.
Really?
And he says he has to study this 2033. He didn't jump and say, oh yeah, but he says, I got to get some time to look into this. So it was very encouraging.
That's good to hear. A lot of the young people will take a lot of them will take the tracks. You know? Even they know. You know, there's something.
We met some young people too here that, we asked some questions too.
Yeah.
Their thoughts about the why the world is rising.
Yeah.
I mean,
Couldn't make it today. Yeah. He was like, I wanted to pass out tracks with you today, brother. Don't worry, I'll take it. He says he's coming to the Day in the Word.
Who, Bobby?
What time is it anyway? Does anyone know?
It is 1:15.
Well, I've been here since 10:30.
Wow, that's a long time. You did great, sis.
We'll be here longer.
What do you think we should eat?
You guys, we can eat anywhere. The guy gave us $300 for
Okay, I'm gonna get some custard for 7.
Yeah.
He likes custard.
I mean, it was like $15 each.
Nice.
So, I guess,
That was very nice.
I don't know, maybe we should wait for Tony to decide, or we're going to take a break.
Yeah, sure.
Should I call him?
Sure.
Should we call Tony?
Yes. Tell him to regroup.
Do you think we should call Tony?
Call Tony and have us regroup.
This guy's not enough God. In case anybody wants to.
Not enough God.
No, and that's true. And what are your thoughts about why you think the world's divided?
I just said it.
Do you think?
You think the Bible has something to do with it and God's wrath upon man?
No.
You don't think there's like a bigger?
There's no God.
No, it definitely is a God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are.
Yeah, it definitely is a God. There's not enough people going to it.
Can you think of any part of society or life that's not divided right now?
No.
The world is divided.
Very much. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you, ma'am. Have a great day.
Have a good day. When are you going to interview somebody? When are you going to interview somebody?
Yes, ma'am. You guys want some watermelon? I got some.
I got all the watermelon.
I got more. I got 2 tubs. 2 tubs of it. It's right in there in the bag, sir. All right, everyone. Thanks very much for joining. We're going to do some other short clips. I think what we've done, a 46-minute, kind of gives you a good idea of what we're doing today. People are taking tracks. People are talking with us. Be encouraged. The Lord knows his sheep.
Seed too. That's what I was checking to see if they had seed.
What's
This is cut fresh from Rebecca. That's left over.
What's the seed
I was
mean?
making sure I had seeds. If
said it right
those
here.
have seeds, that don't have seeds, it's not.
See, I can see. Oliver, here you go.
All right, everyone. May God bless you guys. Signing off until we do some shorts later on.